Donald Trump's inauguration later this month will mark the start of a second term that already has a long list of promises and pledges, many of which we're going to cover in the days ahead. First up today, January 6th pardons. 4 years ago, on this very day, a mob of Trump supporters, as you'll recall, stormed into the U.S. Capitol in a doomed, impossible effort to overturn his loss in the 2020 election. Since that day, more than 1,500 people have been charged for their alleged roles in the attack. Hundreds have pleaded guilty or lost at trial, and many have served or are right now serving time in prison. But most should not have been sent to prison, according to one President-elect Donald Trump. And on day one of his presidency, he has promised that some of those people will be pardoned, saying many of the rioters have, as he put it recently, quote, suffered long and hard. There may be some exceptions to his pardons he allowed if, for example, someone was, quote, radical, crazy. In that vein, we spoke to one of the D.C. Metro police officers who was attacked on January 6th. Here is Daniel Hodges. Take a listen.
It would be very offensive to me. I think it'd be offensive to everyone who risked their lives, who fought and sacrificed their blood and sweat that day to preserve democracy and each other and the lives inside the Capitol.
It does counter a law and order message, and Hodges will be in the room today when that joint session of Congress certifies the results of the 2024 election. He's going to be a guest of Democratic Senator Adam Schiff, which tells you right away how political this story around January 6th still is and may always be. If Trump pardons the rioters, he will be asserting his version of events for history. Meantime, here is the version from one of the federal judges involved, a Reagan appointee named Royce Lamberth. Quote, nobody is being held hostage. Nobody has been made a prisoner of conscience. Every rioter is in the situation he or she is in because he or she broke the law and no other reason.
So joining us now from the Capitol is CBS News congressional correspondent Scott MacFarlane, who's been following the fallout from the insurrection for years. Scott, good morning.
Adriana, good morning. It's all metaphorically visual today. The snow covers the Capitol. There's this birth, this newness to winter, and there's this newness to this Congress. They just took office Friday. A new president's coming in 2 weeks, and today they do the certification. Everything is supposed to be and feel new. But there's this storm cloud over the Capitol that makes you think about what happened 4 years ago. The Capitol riot has seen 1,600 criminal defendants charged. 1,000 of them have admitted their guilt. They pleaded guilty and acknowledged they committed crimes. 600 of them have gone to prison. But this day really is a look back as much as it is a look forward. It is a hallmark of Congress that they peacefully certify elections. That was the one day they didn't. And it still echoes off these marble walls, Adriana and Tony.
You know, Scott, the question, the other thing lingering over the cases that you just mentioned and the certification is what's going to happen to the hundreds of people who have pleaded guilty or been found guilty at trial for their roles, including up to and including assault of police officers. You've got the cases on your screen there. The president has been pretty loose in defining who he's going to include in a pardon and who not, although he said he's going to do it right away. Do you have any insight into who's going to be in the pardon category and who might be in that, what did he say, crazy radical category?
That is an enormously pressing question 2 weeks from today, Tony. He has never specified if it's everybody or if it's some subset of people, if it's those who pleaded guilty to misdemeanors or those who maimed, gassed, and beat police officers, too. Is it everyone? What's more, he hasn't specified if new cases will be allowed when he takes office, because the Department of Justice has been clear there are still about 200 people they're searching for their roles in the Capitol riot who've yet to be arrested, including those who beat police officers that day. This is going to, in some way, impact Inauguration Day, Adriana and Tony, because Trump has pledged pardons on day one. If he does them on day one, Inauguration Day, it's going to be noteworthy. If he doesn't, it's going to raise questions.
And it'll be interesting to see once the president-elect takes over if his DOJ will still pursue those 200-some people that you said they're still looking for or investigating. But, Scott, the government designated this certification as a national special security event. What does that mean, and how rare is it for it to get this designation?
It's exceptionally rare to have that designation around events at the U.S. Capitol. It happens maybe a few times a year at that. There's 8-foot-tall black metal fencing surrounding the entirety of this complex. You see it there. There's also armed law enforcement, federal agents, U.S. Capitol Police as far as the eye can see outside the Capitol. Rarely do you see this much security for an event at the Capitol, especially not for the typically low-key affair of the January 6th electoral certification. There are C-SPAN viewers bored by this most years. It is dry, it is short, there's no vote. It goes by like this, but because of 2021, they have made this a Super Bowl-like security regimen at the Capitol. It is quite striking and quite a statement, Tony and Adriana, the magnitude of what happened 4 years ago and its impact.
Boring no more.
Yeah.
Scott, thank you so much.